What's up everyone, Adam here. Today's video is about relapse and relapse prevention. We're going to cover what relapse actually is, the statistics of addicts relapsing, the 3 stages and warning signs of gradual relapse, and the best techniques to prevent relapse in your recovery. If you haven't yet, make sure you're subscribed to this channel and hit the bell to be notified about these videos to encourage you in your life and recovery and find tools and hope for recovery if you are still out there in addiction. First, what is relapse? Relapse is defined as someone suffering from substance use disorder that has abstained from drugs and alcohol for 30 days or more that then goes back to using drugs or drinking. Since I was 12 years old until I found recovery this time at 28 years old, I was unable to get 30 days clean and sober no matter how hard I tried. People called me a chronic relapser, but that isn't the case for someone suffering and struggling to get clean. Someone that has not yet reached 30 days that is continuing to go back to using is not relapsing, but someone struggling to find the foundational recovery path that works for them. If that's you, I suggest going to 2 meetings in any fellowship of your choosing every single day and getting honest with as many people in long-term recovery as possible. I know you have probably heard this before, but going to the meetings is not enough for most of us. We have to do the steps. Relapse rates are higher than any of us in this community would like them to be. Studies show that 40 to 60% of addicts leaving long-term treatment will relapse in the first 30 days, and 85% will relapse in the first year. Don't let these statistics deter you from doing what it takes to prevent relapse in your own recovery, because we can either look at these as though that means there's no hope for us, or we can look at what the 15% making it over 1 year are doing and follow that path. Now, a relapse isn't something that just all of a sudden happens. Oh look, crack! It happens in stages that include warning signs in yourself or your friends and loved ones in recovery. There are 3 stages to relapse: emotional, mental, and physical. Stage 1. Emotional relapse is when we haven't started thinking about using drugs or drinking yet, but we begin isolating from community, feeling depressed, feeling lonely, walking with a slumped body language that really triggers these emotions to continue. Emotional well-being is essential for long-term recovery and is something we need to be aware of and continually working on. We'll be going over ways to do this later on in the video. Stage 2, mental relapse. Mental relapse is when we actually start having thoughts of what it would be like to use or drink again. We start thinking about the way it used to feel to get high, and sometimes even begin making plans on how we are going to control it or hide it from the people in our lives. Mental relapse is an incredibly dangerous place to be in recovery, and if you are noticing this in yourself, you need to stick around and take the actions we talk about coming up in this video. The 3rd stage is the actual physical relapse. This is when someone actually picks up and puts a drug or drink in their body. Some doctors have differentiated a lapse, being the first time using or drinking again, and a full relapse, which is uncontrolled drinking and using, from each other. But I personally classify them together because someone like me doesn't have an option to just have a little lapse. 1 drink or 1 drug in my body means the end for me, and I am full on back in. If you have found yourself here, you need to get back to the foundational work immediately and find yourself the treatment or community to get back into recovery, because we can't afford to lose you. Now, we're going to talk about the prevention measures to take in your recovery at any point in your recovery to live the life you want to live without going to one of the 3 stages of relapse. I've created a free worksheet for you that makes it doing these exercises very easy, and you can find the link for it in the description of the video below. First, you need to solidify why it is you got clean and sober in the first place. A great way to do this is to write out exactly what life was like in your addiction. What were you feeling? What were you thinking? What had you lost in your life, and what was happening around you that made you want to stop? Get as detailed as possible and don't leave any of the pain out, so you have a solid place to look back to if, God forbid, you ever start thinking about relapsing again. Next, I want you to get really clear on all the reasons you want to stay clean and sober. A great exercise for this is the if I, then I exercise. There are 2 ways to do this exercise as it pertains to preventing yourself from relapsing. If you have the worksheet already, great. You can see where this was made up for you on the if I, then I page. If not, the way it works is you have a page that says if I relapse at the top left and then I at the top right. Underneath then I, you're going to write all the things that would happen if you were to decide to drink or use again. Get as many out as possible. This list could include things like, I will lose my community I have, my mom will be hurt and worried, I will lose my kids, I won't be able to keep my job, I will start getting dope sick again. Ugh. And this list is very similar for most of us, but different in different circumstances. make sure you are making it as detailed as possible for your situation. The other side of this exercise is the positive side of it, as you can see in the worksheet. At the top left of the page it says if I, and at the top right it says then I. With this portion, you are going to start making a list of things you could or want to add to your life, and if you did, what would happen? For example, if I exercise 4 days per week, then I will feel better about my body, will have a healthier fitness, will have less stress and anxiety, will be stronger, etc. You can also put things here like if I read 10 pages per day, if I meditated 10 minutes per day, if I went to school, if I started a nonprofit, etc. Anything you could or want to add to your life that would improve your overall well-being would be great to put here. Now, we're going to do the top 5. I love this exercise and it is extremely useful for relapse prevention with a purpose for our lives. The top 5 are 5 specific lists that are important to always have available to look at and be ready to utilize at any point when we need to get back into emotional well-being. First list is your top 5 supporters in recovery and their phone numbers. You should always have this very clear for yourself as the 5 people you can reach out to at any time you need to during your recovery with anything going on in your life, and always be honest and open with these 5 people about anything going on so they can help you. The second list are the top 5 daily habits you did in early recovery that helped you abstain from drugs and alcohol and start to build a new life. This list could include going to meetings, calling your sponsor, making your bed, praying morning and evening, exercising, whatever it was that you were doing that kept you clean and sober. If you are ever getting into one of the first 2 stages of relapse, go to this list and do these things immediately. Third is a list of your top 5 ways you could be of service to someone else in any given day. This is a great list to have and pick from every day to keep your focus on serving others, which us in recovery know is the ultimate relapse prevention. This list can include very simple things like call someone in recovery and ask them if there is something you can do for them today, or smile at everyone you pass today. And can also be a fun way to get creative, like find someone that is homeless and take them out for coffee and listen to their story. When you pick one of these at the beginning of your day, you are going to be focused on fulfilling that act of service and won't have any mind space to think about using or drinking. Enjoy this one. It is what life in recovery is all about. Fourth is going to be a list of your top 5 hobbies or activities you love to do that keep your mind completely off drugs and alcohol. For me, I love playing basketball, paddle tennis, making videos, riding my motorcycle, and going to the gym. I've heard all kinds of hobbies people love doing, like crocheting or writing poetry or running. I run, but it is not on my list of fun hobbies because I hate it, but know it's good for me, so I do it anyway. This list should be given time in your schedule no matter what, so you are taking care of yourself and living a life you want to live in your recovery. The 5th list is going to be the top 5 additions to your life you have always wanted to do to improve yourself but haven't yet gotten around to. Becoming aware of certain things you want to do to improve yourself and taking time to add them to your routine is essential to growing in life and progressing in your recovery. This list can include exercise, reading, meditating, praying, writing, starting a business, learning from podcasts, anything you have in your head that you know you would like to add to your life but haven't yet. And at any time in your recovery, come to this list and tackle one of these into your life and gain some spiritual progress, because none of us are perfect. The last part of this relapse prevention video is your dream life. We need to get clear on where we are going in our recovery so we have a focus of what we want our future to look like, or we are bound to repeat the past. 2 exercises for this you can get in the free worksheet are the bucket list and your life in 3 years. We all know what a bucket list is, but most of us have never actually written one down. Make a list of experiences, activities, accomplishments you want to have in your life before you pass on. These can be travel destinations, writing a book, speaking at a school, speaking at a fellowship conference, starting a nonprofit. One of mine was skydiving. I had always wanted to go skydiving since I was a young adult, but was never able to get myself there because I was so trapped in drugs. For my 6 months clean and sober, I went skydiving for my first time to celebrate, and it changed my life. I was now someone that does things for my life because I'm free to do them. I also always wanted to write a book. And as many of you know, I published my story From Chains to Saved on my 2 years clean and sober, and you can also get this for free on my website, recoveredonpurpose.com, and the link is in the description. The last exercise for relapse prevention is going to be your life 3 years from now. Take the time to really envision what you want your life to look like 3 years from now. Include everything from the job you are doing, the car you drive, the way you feel and think, everything. Meditate on it to really understand where you want to be and envision yourself there now. Now write it all out as detailed as possible in the present tense as if you are living there right now. I feel so happy and joyful because I just moved into my new 2-bedroom apartment in Denver with my puppy Roscoe. He's an Australian Shepherd mix and is the cutest dog in the whole planet. Whatever you want. And write it out and have fun with it. Having this clear vision will not only help you make the decisions necessary to attain that dream, but will keep you motivated and steadfast in your recovery. Well guys, thank you for sticking around for this video and sharing your recovery with me. I want everyone to find recovery and the freedom that can come along with it. And when you do, I want you to stick around. Again, links in the comments for free resources, as well as a link to the merch shop to wear Recovered on Purpose proudly. I love you all and keep living Recovered on Purpose.